I made a fully automated AI TikTok video generator, and here's how I did it. With all of the AI-generated content on social media these days, and with new tools being released every day to cater to these types of creators, I figured it was time to jump on the bandwagon and make a fully automated AI video generator on my own. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of AI-generated content, but technology keeps moving forward whether we like it or not. So I might as well try and learn how to do this, if for nothing else other than understanding the problem a bit more in detail. It could also simply be a fun weekend project. So, my plan was as follows. Step 1. Have the AI look for a story on the internet. Step 2. Make the AI write the script for a video based on that story. Step 3. Make the AI create all of the video content by itself, including images, graphics, music, voices, etc. There is of course also the potential here to have it automatically upload the videos as well, but let's take one step at a time. In order to get the proof of concept out as soon as possible, I didn't want to overcomplicate any parts of the process. So instead of searching the web more broadly for trending topics, I scoped it down to using trusty old Wikipedia as my source. It's perhaps not exactly what you might think. Wikipedia has an excellent one-stop shop list for interesting articles called
Unusual Articles.
Not every single article linked here is great, however, so I needed the AI to filter it for me. As for the choice of AI in itself, since I was working with text, a large language model or LLM would be the natural choice here. OpenAI's GPT model, more commonly known as ChatGPT, seems to be both the most popular and capable LLM these days, so the choice naturally fell on this model. OpenAI provides an API for GPT through their website, the latest version being GPT-4 Turbo. This latest GPT model supports a context of up to 128,000 characters, which should be more than enough to handle most Wikipedia articles. The full size of the Unusual Articles page is too big to simply be fed directly into a single GPT prompt, so I needed to convert it first into a simpler format. Thankfully, Mr. Jonathan Goldsmith of the Python community has written a library that, in his words, makes it easy to access and parse data from Wikipedia. Well, perfect. Or so I thought. Unfortunately, it seems to skip parsing the primary content of the Unusual Articles page, the tables with the links and summary of the unusual articles themselves. Thankfully, however, the library does spit out a list of all Wikipedia articles linked from the page. The context is missing, but I figured titles for these unusual articles should give a tiny bit of context by themselves, perhaps just enough for the AI to evaluate and land on a decent conclusion. After writing a simple Python script to interact with the GPT API, and after a few tweaks, I landed on the following prompt.
You will be given a list of titles of wiki-style articles. Your job is to pick an article from the list that will be used as the basis to make an interesting video from. The video will be posted on a social media platform in short form, such as TikTok, YouTube Shorts, etc.
I also made sure to add some basic guidance to avoid breaking any terms of service, as well as telling it how to respond to requests. Finally, I included a list of articles that was already picked in order to avoid double dipping. I ran it a couple of times to see if it made any sense, and to be honest, I was immediately quite impressed by the titles that it picked, as well as the reasoning.
Picked title: Great Molasses Flood. Reason for the pick: this event is unique and not widely known, offering a mix of history, curiosity, and the oddities of industrial accidents. Great for engaging a social media audience.
Keep in mind, the AI had not been fed any other context for this title, so it clearly already has some knowledge about many of these topics already. For some reason though, it would quite often pick a topic which in itself would perhaps be subpar, so I decided to quite literally include myself in the loop with a simple manual approval process. This part was thankfully a bit more straightforward. Just use ChatGPT as most people would use it. Have it summarize a story for you. I made a prompt much like the previous one, but with a couple of new additions for the story part.
You will be given a wiki-style article. Your job is to make a short script for that article that will be read out as a narrative voiceover, a short video on an online video platform, for example, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, etc.
I also added some extra emphasis on the style/type of story, in order to adapt it more to the short style format. After a bit of trial and error, the output seemed good enough to keep going to the next step. First off, I wanted to generate some images to show on screen while a text-to-speech voice is narrating the story. In order to synchronize the speech and the images, I figured the best plan was to split the story up into sections of a few seconds each. This way, an image would be created for each section of the story, as well as automatically synchronizing it to the voiceover. To speed up and streamline the process, I picked OpenAI's Dall-E version 3, included in the same Python library as GPT. The Dall-E API uses much of the same approach as GPT. Simply provide it with a piece of text describing what you want to see, and it will, after some time, spit out an image URL where you can download the result. I split this up into two functions, one for generating the image and one for downloading it from the URL. I then extended the previous prompt with the following.
Images also needs to be created to match the narration/story. These images will be animated and shown as the video while the voice narrates. Please create a Dall-E 3 prompt each time a new image should appear.
I also specified the JSON output format in the prompt, alternating between a Dall-E prompt and a text-to-speech section in order to make the parsing easier. Lastly, I specified the duration of each section, as well as telling it to avoid adding text to the images, as Dall-E isn't exactly known to be a spelling bee champion. For text-to-speech, I landed on using Amazon Polly. Polly supports so-called Speech Synthesis Markup Language, or SSML, making it easy to change the speed, adding breaks, and generally making the speech more dynamic. It also supports speech marks, a simple word list with timestamps on exactly when every word is spoken, making it easy to synchronize text or subtitles with what is being said. AWS provides an SDK for Python called Boto3, where you can simply create the Polly client and then call the synthesize speech function. You may then request the speech marks by calling the exact same function, but with the argument speech mark types set. Putting it all together, I added a loop at the end of the script going through the Dall-E prompts as well as the voice sections which GPT-4 provided. Running through the entire script once, it picked an article called Exploding Head Syndrome.
The title itself is likely to grab attention due to its startling nature, and the content, which deals with a benign but bizarre-sounding sleep disorder, could be both educational and unexpectedly entertaining for viewers.
I was quite happy with the overall result, though one of the images was a bit strange compared to the rest. I wanted to make vertical videos, and the generated images would only be the top half of the video. I wanted to devote the bottom half to generic viewer retention videos. For example, soap carving videos, satisfying 3D animations, and even perhaps Minecraft parkour videos. These didn't have to be unique every time, so I put together a few of them and gave them names based on the contents. I now needed a script to put everything together into one video. After fighting a bit with ChatGPT to make an outline for it, I ended up with a Python script using MoviePy for most of the heavy lifting. MoviePy turns images into videos with image clip, even adding a slight zoom effect to them using a lambda function inside the resize function. I also wanted to utilize the speech marks and add some live subtitles popping up on the screen while the voice was speaking. After chatting a bit more with ChatGPT, I ended up with a 3-step process. 1. Make a list of all the speech mark entries with timestamps relative to the beginning of the video. 2. Loop through the list and create one text clip for each word spoken. 3. Add a slight bounce effect to each word to make it a bit more entertaining. Great! Now on to the very last part, music. After a bit of research into a few different services for generating AI music, I signed up for one of them and downloaded a selection of songs. I then added background music to the JSON output for the main GPT prompt and appended the following to the very end.
Finally, for the background music, please pick one file name from the following selection,
followed by a list of files for the songs I downloaded. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of ChatGPT, I give you Exploding Head Syndrome.
Imagine dozing off and suddenly hearing a deafening blast in your head that doesn't really exist. This alarming phenomenon is known as exploding head syndrome, where individuals hear loud imaginary noises upon falling asleep or waking up. While terrifying, it's surprisingly not harmful and absent of pain. Stress, anxiety, and erratic sleep may trigger these auditory episodes, yet the true cause remains a mystery. First documented in 1876, women are more often affected, yet treatment is elusive since we lack concrete evidence on what works. However, education and merely understanding the condition can sometimes decrease the frequency of these noisy invasions. Visual explosions, like sudden flashes of light, may also accompany the sound, adding to the nighttime spectacle. If you've ever experienced this curious condition, take comfort in knowing you're not alone in these silent, imaginary bangs.
That was all right, not the best. Let's try another one.
Running in reverse isn't just a party trick, it's a serious sport with global competitions. While backward running improves balance and reduces knee pain, it comes with a unique set of risks. Tripping while running backwards may lead to a quick backward roll, especially downhill, where gravity is your unexpected friend. Athletes trade the forward sprint's heel-toe push for a backward grind, firing up different muscle fibers and boosting brain power. Its practical side shines in sports, where referees backward run to watch the play without missing a beat. The reverse stride even hit the big screen and sound waves, inspiring comedy films and rock songs. From Ghana's Ferdi Adobo to Germany's Thomas Dold, many have sprinted backward into the limelight.
In conclusion, the current state of AI is decent enough to make some viewable content. Though the quality isn't the best in the world, it makes up for it in quantity. The progress of AI is scarily fast, so give it a few years, and it can probably do everything I just did by simply asking it nicely. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, keep ramming.